Eira had always loved quiet mornings. There was a clarity to them, a softness that the rest of the day never seemed to hold. In those hours before the world fully awakened, when the streets were empty and the air smelled of dew and possibility, she could breathe freely. She would stand by her small window, warm cup of tea in hand, watching the horizon shift from deep indigo to soft gold. The rising sun was a gentle reminder that, no matter what had happened yesterday, today existed as a clean slate, unmarked and full of potential. For years, Eira believed life itself moved like those mornings, predictable, forgiving, and inherently fair. She believed patience, kindness, and quiet perseverance would carry her through whatever challenges might arise. Life, she thought, had a natural rhythm, and if she stayed steady, it would reward her. For a long time, that belief seemed true. Eira's life had a comforting structure. Her days weren't filled with grand achievements, and her accomplishments were quiet and personal, yet there was a sense of stability she had grown to cherish. She enjoyed small rituals, the sound of rain on her window, the feel of cool grass beneath her feet during evening walks, and the soft murmur of neighbors greeting one another. People often described her as calm, dependable, and thoughtful, a person you could trust to remain steady when everything around her seemed unstable. For years, that identity, that quiet strength, had been her anchor. And yet, storms rarely announced themselves. The first changes were subtle. A cancelled meeting here, a missed call there, a friendship that slowly drifted into silence. At first, Eira tried to dismiss them as temporary inconveniences. She reminded herself that life is often unpredictable and that challenges pass if one is patient. But each small disappointment carried a weight that accumulated like layers of fog. Messages went unanswered, invitations ceased, and people she had trusted became distant figures in her life. The absence was silent but heavy, a quiet echo in her everyday existence that grew louder each day. Eira tried to convince herself that these were normal experiences, that everyone faced periods of uncertainty, but deep down, she knew something had shifted. The certainty she had relied upon was no longer there. Night after night, she lay awake, staring at the ceiling, her mind echoing with unanswered questions. Doubt, a feeling she had long resisted, began to creep in. Was she invisible? Unworthy? Had she misread life all along? Then came the night of the storm. It arrived not slowly or with warning, but violently, as if the universe itself had decided to shake her world. Dark clouds swallowed the sky, rain lashed against the windows in relentless sheets, and wind swept through the streets, tugging at trees and rattling doors. Thunder rolled across the town, booming like distant warnings, and lightning fractured the sky with startling brilliance. Eira sat by her window, her hands wrapped around her mug for warmth, and listened. For the first time in weeks, she admitted the truth she had been avoiding: she felt completely and utterly lost. The storm outside mirrored the turmoil within her. It was not only the absence of people, the lost opportunities, or the distance of friends that wounded her, it was the creeping, invasive doubt that whispered she had misunderstood life. Perhaps her patience and kindness were naive, mistakes that left her vulnerable to disappointment. Perhaps the stability she had counted on was nothing more than a fragile illusion. Hours passed as Eira sat in the dim light, listening to the rain, feeling the wind against the walls, letting the storm seep into her bones. And then, almost imperceptibly, a thought emerged: what if this storm was not here to destroy her? It felt strange at first. Storms were meant to be feared, endured, or escaped, weren't they? They were symbols of chaos, of hardship, of loss. But what if storms were also teachers? What if they arrived not only to challenge but to shape, to test, and to reveal the hidden strengths within us? Eira thought of the tallest trees she had ever seen, standing proudly despite decades of wind, rain, and snow. Each storm had tried to break them, yet their roots grew deeper, their trunks stronger. Perhaps humans were the same, perhaps adversity didn't weaken us, perhaps it built us. The next morning, when the rain subsided and sunlight washed the streets in a bright, almost ethereal glow, Eira stepped outside. The air was crisp and clean, carrying the scent of earth and renewal. For the first time in weeks, she noticed the little things she had taken for granted: puddles reflecting the morning sun, leaves sparkling with moisture, the laughter of a child splashing in a small puddle. The world felt alive, vibrant, and unbroken, despite the storm's rage. It was then that Eira realized something essential: the storm had not ended her story. It had interrupted it. The past, with all its losses and disappointments, could not be rebuilt, but the future was entirely hers to shape. She began to rebuild slowly. Not with dramatic gestures, not by chasing large achievements, but by taking deliberate, mindful steps each day. She walked longer distances in the mornings, noticing corners of her town she had never explored. She revisited hobbies long neglected, painting and writing, letting creativity flow freely without judgment. She embraced solitude, no longer fearing it, but learning from it. The quiet became a teacher, revealing truths about herself she had never noticed amidst the clamor of routine. There were moments when doubt returned, heavy and insistent. Memories of friends who had drifted away, of opportunities lost, and of personal failures threatened to overwhelm her. For a time, these thoughts were like relentless waves crashing against the shore. Yet gradually, Eira learned a new form of resilience, observing pain without letting it dominate her. She treated doubts like passing clouds, watching them, learning from them, and letting them drift away. As weeks turned into months, Eira's world began to shift. She noticed joy in small, unexpected places: a stranger's smile, the golden light of sunset, the quiet murmur of leaves in the breeze. She forgave herself for mistakes long past, realizing that imperfection was part of growth. She forgave those who left, understanding that some departures are not rejections but redirections, necessary for evolution. Through reflection and perseverance, Eira began to understand the deeper meaning of strength. It was not about avoiding storms or escaping discomfort. Strength was about standing firm in adversity, bending without breaking, trusting oneself when everything else seemed uncertain. The storm had forced her to confront not only the fragility of her circumstances but the depth of her character. It was revealing her resilience, patience, and courage in ways calm days never could. Every day became a lesson in transformation. Eira learned to embrace discomfort as a teacher rather than an enemy. She observed her fears, acknowledged them, and then moved forward despite them. Every small step, walking a new path, trying a new hobby, speaking her thoughts aloud, was a victory. And with each victory, no matter how minor, she felt a growing sense of empowerment that could not be shaken by circumstance. Eira's solitude transformed from emptiness to strength. She found that being alone allowed her to explore her inner world without judgment. She confronted old regrets and anxieties, not to be consumed by them, but to understand them and grow. It was in these quiet hours that she discovered patience, resilience, and the profound ability to forgive, not just others, but herself. One afternoon, sitting atop a small hill overlooking fields of green, Eira felt the wind brushing her face. It reminded her of the storm, the forceful, unpredictable energy that once seemed destructive, but also of its lesson. Even the strongest winds eventually calm, leaving behind a sense of clarity and renewal. Strength, she realized, was not about avoiding challenges, it was about embracing them and allowing them to shape us. And in that realization, something changed within her. Eira understood that life's storms were not punishments but catalysts. They strip away illusions, expose our vulnerabilities, and demand growth. They force clarity, reveal priorities, and illuminate the potential within us. She began to live each day with intention, focusing on what could be gained rather than what had been lost. Her journey had only just begun, yet even now, Eira felt the stirrings of a new self, stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. The storm had shaken her world, yes, but it had also nurtured the roots of resilience deep within her. The days after the storm were quiet, almost eerily so. The town seemed to breathe slowly, recovering from the sudden upheaval of rain and wind. For Eira, however, the quiet brought more than peace, it brought reflection. She noticed things she had never noticed before: the soft sway of tree branches in a gentle breeze, the way sunlight filtered through the clouds in scattered beams, the distant hum of life continuing, unstoppable, outside her window. She realized that even when storms rage, the world does not pause. Life moves forward, whether she is ready or not. And slowly, she began to understand that perhaps she didn't need to pause either. At first, the recovery was difficult. The emptiness she had felt during the storm didn't simply vanish. Mornings could still feel heavy, like the weight of unspoken questions pressing on her chest. Some days, she struggled to get out of bed, wondering if moving forward would make any difference at all. The memory of lost friends, missed opportunities, and quiet disappointments haunted her like shadows that stretched far longer than the daylight hours. Yet Eira was learning something new. Resilience was not the absence of difficulty. It was the courage to continue, to rise, to act, even when life felt uncertain. She began small, taking walks further than before, exploring streets she had never noticed, observing the ordinary as if it were extraordinary. Each step became a form of meditation, a way to ground herself in the present rather than dwell on the past. Each street, each corner, became a reminder that there was more to the world than what she had known or feared. During these walks, Eira often paused to reflect. She asked herself questions that had long been buried beneath the surface of her daily routines. Who am I, really? What do I want from life, beyond expectations and habits? Why do I measure my worth by the presence of others or by what I can control? These questions were uncomfortable, sometimes even painful, but they were necessary. They forced her to confront her own fears, her insecurities, and the parts of herself she had ignored for too long, and as she confronted them, something remarkable happened. She began to feel a sense of liberation. For the first time in years, she realized that life didn't have to fit into a predetermined rhythm. Stability was not a requirement for happiness, and loss did not equate to failure. The absence of certain people or opportunities didn't diminish her value. She could be whole, resilient, and strong, even in the presence of uncertainty. Eira's mornings became her sanctuary. She would wake early, before the world was fully awake, and sit with her thoughts in silence. Sometimes she wrote in her journal, sometimes she simply watched the sky, letting her mind wander. These quiet hours were more than reflection, they were reclamation. Slowly, she was learning to own her life, to define herself not by what was taken from her but by what she could build from within. In the afternoons, she began to engage with the world more intentionally. She reached out to acquaintances she had lost touch with, not expecting them to return to her life fully, but simply to reconnect and share a moment of human warmth. She volunteered in small ways, helping neighbors with errands or offering a listening ear to someone who seemed troubled. Each act, no matter how minor, reinforced her growing belief that life could be rebuilt, one thoughtful choice at a time. Yet, even as she grew stronger, Eira faced days of doubt. Some mornings, the emptiness returned with a weight that felt unbearable. She would recall the friends who had drifted away or the opportunities that had vanished, and the familiar pang of loneliness would resurface. On those days, she allowed herself to feel it fully, without judgment or shame. She would sit with the sadness, acknowledge it, and remind herself that it did not define her. Pain, she realized, was not permanent. It was a guide, a signpost pointing toward growth and understanding. Slowly, Eira began to experiment with new challenges. She took up painting again, allowing herself to create without critique. The brushstrokes were messy at first, uneven and uncertain, but with each stroke, she felt a sense of freedom she had not experienced in years. Through art, she discovered that imperfection could be beautiful and that mistakes were not failures, they were lessons. She painted not for others, not for recognition, but for herself. Each canvas became a testament to resilience, patience, and the courage to try again despite fear. Alongside creativity, Eira began to develop a deeper connection with nature. She spent hours walking through nearby fields, forests, and riversides. The world outside seemed alive with lessons she had never noticed, the way plants bent without breaking in the wind, the way rivers carved paths through rock with persistent determination, the way sunlight always returned after clouds. In every detail, she found metaphors for her own life. She realized that storms did not destroy, they sculpted, shaped, and strengthened. As Eira continued to grow, she noticed subtle changes in herself. She became more patient, more compassionate, and more self-aware. She understood that resilience was not just an internal quality, it manifested in how she interacted with others, how she made decisions, and how she responded to challenges. She began to embrace discomfort as a teacher rather than a threat, learning to navigate uncertainty with courage rather than fear. Relationships, once a source of anxiety and dependence, began to shift. Eira approached connections with intention, valuing depth over quantity. She learned to speak her truth kindly, to set boundaries without guilt, and to let go of attachments that no longer served her growth. It was not easy. Some people left despite her efforts, and old patterns of loneliness occasionally resurfaced, but with each experience, she grew stronger, more confident in her ability to navigate life's unpredictability. One evening, after a particularly long walk through the town, Eira found herself sitting on a bench overlooking a small hill bathed in the golden glow of sunset. She felt the wind brush against her face, a gentle reminder of the storm that had changed everything. And in that quiet moment, she understood something profound: the storm had not taken everything from her. It had given her clarity, resilience, and a deeper understanding of herself. She reflected on her journey and realized that strength was not about avoiding storms. Strength was about walking through them with awareness, learning from every challenge, and refusing to let fear dictate her life. She realized that every storm she endured, every loss she faced, and every doubt she conquered was building something within her, a foundation of courage, wisdom, and self-trust. Eira also began to notice her influence on others. People gravitated toward her calm presence, seeking her insight, empathy, and understanding. She shared her experiences quietly, not to seek recognition, but to offer hope. She discovered that by acknowledging her own storms and emerging stronger, she could inspire others to find their own resilience. Each conversation, each small act of support, reinforced the lessons she had learned: vulnerability is not weakness, pain can lead to growth, and storms are often the catalysts for transformation. As the months passed, Eira's perspective on life deepened further. She embraced uncertainty with grace, understanding that change is inevitable and that adaptation is the key to growth. She cultivated patience, learning that some challenges take time to resolve and that the journey itself is often more valuable than the destination. She allowed herself to dream again, not cautiously or fearfully, but boldly and intentionally. Even setbacks no longer discouraged her. When disappointments occurred, she acknowledged them, reflected on the lessons they offered, and moved forward with renewed determination. Each experience became a stepping stone, a reminder that resilience is forged not in ease, but in endurance. She discovered that the human spirit has an incredible capacity for renewal, that strength is cumulative, and that every small victory matters. Through this process, Eira came to a deeper understanding of life's true rhythm. It was not the calm, predictable pattern she had once imagined. It was dynamic, unpredictable, and often uncomfortable, but it was alive, full of lessons, growth, and beauty. She realized that embracing the storm, rather than fearing it, was the path to authentic strength. By the time another storm arrived months later, Eira was ready. The wind, the rain, and the thunder no longer frightened her. She faced the storm with a quiet confidence, a steady heart, and an unwavering belief in her own resilience. She knew that storms would always come, but she had learned to stand firm, to adapt, and to find growth in adversity. Eira's journey was far from over, but the woman she had become was transformed. She understood that storms are inevitable, but so is recovery, so is growth, and so is the emergence of strength from struggle. She had learned to honor the storm, to embrace the lessons it offered, and to trust that even the darkest moments could lead to profound light. By now, Eira had come to recognize the quiet strength that lived within her. It wasn't loud or flashy, it didn't demand attention. It was the kind of strength that revealed itself in small, consistent actions, the patience to keep walking when the path was uncertain, the courage to face fears she had once avoided, the willingness to embrace change without losing herself. She had learned that true resilience is built not in moments of comfort, but in moments of challenge, and she carried this understanding with her like a torch, illuminating each new day. Her mornings remained sacred. She woke early, savoring the stillness before the world fully emerged. Sometimes she would write, letting her thoughts pour onto the page, untangled and free. Sometimes she would simply sit by the window, letting the sunlight warm her face as she reflected on the journey she had traveled. In those moments, she marveled at how far she had come, from the frightened, uncertain woman who had sat alone through the first storm to the strong, self-aware individual she had become. Even as she grew stronger, Eira remained humble. She understood that growth is never final, that life's storms are ongoing and unpredictable. Yet, with each challenge, she found herself better equipped to navigate uncertainty. Where she once had seen obstacles, she now saw opportunities for learning. Where she once had felt powerless, she now recognized the power she held over her own reactions, choices, and mindset. Strength, she realized, was not the absence of struggle, it was the ability to continue, to endure, and to emerge wiser on the other side. One of the most important lessons Eira learned was the value of self-compassion. She had spent so many years judging herself harshly for mistakes, missed opportunities, and perceived failures. Now, she treated herself with the same kindness she extended to others. She forgave herself for the times she had doubted her worth. She acknowledged the pain of the past without letting it define her. This simple shift, a willingness to love herself despite imperfection, became one of her most profound sources of strength. Eira also began to embrace connection in a new way. She no longer sought validation or approval from others, nor did she fear loneliness as she once had. Instead, she cultivated meaningful relationships rooted in authenticity, empathy, and mutual growth. She reached out to people she genuinely cared about, shared her experiences, and offered support to those struggling. And in doing so, she discovered something remarkable: her own healing was magnified when she helped others. Each act of kindness became a reflection of the journey she had endured, a testament to the lessons the storm had taught her. Life, of course, continued to challenge her. There were still days of uncertainty, moments when setbacks tested her resolve, and periods when doubts tried to creep back in. But Eira now faced these challenges with a sense of perspective she had never possessed before. She understood that hardship was temporary, that pain could be transformative, and that storms, no matter how fierce, always pass. Each challenge became a mirror, revealing the resilience she carried within, a resilience born of experience, reflection, and courage. As the seasons changed, Eira's life became a tapestry of quiet victories. She took joy in simple things: the way morning light filled her room, the laughter of children playing in the streets, the soft rustle of leaves in the wind. She pursued passions she had once neglected, painting with abandon, writing with honesty, and exploring the world around her with curiosity and wonder. She discovered that fulfillment is not found in perfection or achievement alone, but in engagement, presence, and the ability to appreciate life even amidst uncertainty. Eira's growth extended beyond herself. She became a source of inspiration for those around her, not through grand gestures or dramatic proclamations, but through her presence, her calm confidence, and her unwavering commitment to navigate life with integrity and courage. People sought her guidance, shared their struggles with her, and found comfort in her ability to listen without judgment. She realized that by embracing her own journey, she could illuminate the path for others, helping them see that storms, no matter how overwhelming, are not the end, they are a beginning. One evening, as twilight settled over the town, Eira found herself reflecting on the totality of her journey. The memory of the first storm, the one that had seemed so devastating, was vivid in her mind. She remembered the fear, the doubt, the loneliness. And yet, she also remembered the lessons it had forced her to learn: the value of patience, the power of reflection, the importance of resilience, and the clarity that arises from enduring hardship. She realized that without that storm, she would never have discovered the depths of her own strength, nor would she have cultivated the wisdom that now guided her decisions and actions. She thought of the people who had left her life, the opportunities that had vanished, and the obstacles she had faced. Rather than seeing these as losses, she now viewed them as necessary components of her growth. Each challenge had sculpted her character, refined her values, and prepared her to navigate life with confidence and authenticity. The storm had not destroyed her, it had made her stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. Eira understood that life's storms are inevitable. They arrive without warning, testing endurance, patience, and courage. But she had also learned that storms are temporary, and that the resilience cultivated during adversity is permanent. Strength is not measured by the absence of struggle, but by the ability to endure it, to learn from it, and to emerge transformed. She carried this lesson into every aspect of her life. Her mornings were dedicated to reflection and intention. Her days were filled with purposeful action, creativity, and connection. Her nights were moments of gratitude and contemplation, acknowledging both the challenges she had faced and the victories, large and small, that had arisen from them. Each day became a testament to growth, resilience, and the power of the human spirit. Eira's story became a quiet beacon. She shared her experiences with friends and strangers alike, offering encouragement to those navigating their own storms. She reminded them that vulnerability is not weakness, that failure is not final, and that adversity, no matter how overwhelming, is an opportunity to discover hidden strength. She became living proof that storms do not define us, the choices we make in response to them do. As years passed, Eira continued to face challenges, but she no longer feared them. Each storm, each setback, became a teacher, offering lessons in patience, courage, and self-awareness. She had learned to embrace discomfort, to welcome change, and to trust in her own capacity to endure. The storms of life, once terrifying and isolating, had become opportunities for growth and empowerment. In her quiet moments, Eira often reflected on the journey that had brought her to this place. She remembered the fear, the uncertainty, and the pain of those early days. She remembered the nights spent alone, listening to the storm rage outside, wondering if she would ever find solid ground again. And she remembered the first spark of understanding, that perhaps the storm was not meant to break her, but to build her. She realized now that this understanding had shaped everything that followed. The storms had forced her to confront herself, to examine her fears, to cultivate resilience, and to embrace her own worth. They had guided her towards self-compassion, meaningful connection, and purposeful living. And through it all, Eira had discovered the profound truth that would guide her for the rest of her life: strength is not the absence of storms, but the courage to face them. Growth is not the absence of struggle, but the willingness to endure it. And the human spirit, when nurtured with patience, reflection, and self-belief, can weather any storm and emerge brighter, wiser, and stronger than before. Eira stood one evening, watching the sunset paint the sky with colors of fire and gold. She felt the wind brush her face gently, a reminder of storms past and lessons learned. She thought of all the challenges yet to come, knowing that they would arrive, as they always do. But she felt no fear. She had discovered an inner strength that no storm could shake, a resilience forged in hardship and tempered by reflection, and in that moment, Eira smiled. She understood that the storm she had once feared had not only changed her life, it had saved it. It had revealed her true self, illuminated her capacity for courage and growth, and shown her that even in the darkest hours, light can emerge. For anyone standing in the midst of a storm, feeling lost, afraid, or uncertain, Eira's story serves as a reminder: storms do not last forever, but the strength they leave behind can last a lifetime. The storm is never the end. It is only the beginning of a stronger, wiser, braver self. And Eira, the woman who once trembled in fear of life's uncertainties, now walks forward with confidence, clarity, and unwavering belief in the power of the human spirit, a living testament to the truth that we are stronger than we ever imagined, and that every storm, no matter how fierce, is an opportunity to discover the extraordinary strength within.